Thanks, Peter. Well, obviously, it's a good day. It's a really good day for the Calgary Flames, our team, our organization, I think our city. When I sat here before you, it seems like a long time ago, when our season broke up in April. And the question was asked about the summer to-do list. The number one thing at that time and remained throughout the summer was getting Matthew signed. It took longer than we all hoped, but when you're talking about a player at this level, when you're talking about the summer that we've gone through, which was a unique summer within the industry, the hope and excitement was always about that day when we could sit in front of you and say it's done. So it's done. A couple of thank yous I think are in order. First, to our ownership group led by Murray Edwards, John Dean, who have any time that you make an investment of this magnitude, I think it goes without saying that the support right from the top of this organization, the commitment to winning is second to none. So to our ownership group, and like I said, in particular Murray Edwards, to John, our president and CEO, thank you for all your support. To Matthew, it's been a long process. It has been a long process, and I think it's long for our fans and followers. I can tell you when you're involved in it, and especially going through it for the first time as a young player. Matthew's maturity, as I've spoken about at length during his time here, showed throughout this process. So I thank you to Matthew and his representatives, Donnie Mean and Craig Oster. So. The one comment I guess I'll make before I turn it over to Matthew, as we were going through this process, we really had two goals in mind all summer. And when you complete the season and you sort of do your debriefing and then you come back and try to put together a plan for the summer, our two goals for the summer was number one, to sign Matthew. And number two is to keep our team intact. And when I say keep your team intact, you're always going to have some change. But what we wanted to eliminate is a distressed transaction, where we were in a situation where you had to throw a body under the tarmac to create space. And it comes with challenges. It comes with potentially risks. We talked at length at the beginning of the process to Matthew and his representatives, and I can tell you from the start, as you go through this process, Matthew's goal was the same. He obviously wanted to get his situation resolved, but it could not, would not, and did not result with the elimination of a teammate. And I think that goes, and that's what Matthew said to me at the beginning of this process, and it goes again to the type of individual we're dealing with here. So thank you for all your patience. I know I answered a lot of boring, I had a lot of, which is usual, a lot of vanilla boring statements when you ask the question, any update on Matthew? I'm pleased to announce I've got an update on Matthew. We've got him signed. So with that, I'll turn it over to Chucky.
Thank you, Tree. This is my first time doing a meeting a little bit. I'm a little nervous. I'm definitely going to screw something up. But I just want, on behalf of myself, my family, my representatives, Newport Sports, who I'm so thankful for the whole process with them and how great they were in this, and keeping myself, my family, everybody on the same page and believe since day one that we were going to be here for the first game of the season. On behalf of all of us, we'd like to thank you, Tree, the rest of the organization, Murray Edwards, the whole ownership group, who I got to speak with Murray a little bit this morning, and his commitment to winning. You don't see him here a ton, but the more times I talk with him, the more you see how committed he is to winning and bringing a Stanley Cup here, and that's a big reason why I'm sitting here today and I'm excited to be here. So my teammates who I've gone through everything with since I've been here, since I've been drafted, and I've been lucky to play with so many great teammates, some still here, some not here. They're all to thank in this. I'm so appreciative of every single one I've played with. And last but not least, to the fans, I don't know, my Instagram, my Twitter took a hit the past couple weeks, but I'm happy that they're so passionate and they want me back really bad, and I would like to be here a little bit earlier, but I'm here, and it's an exciting time to be a Calgary Flame. On behalf of obviously myself, my family, my representatives, we just want to say thank you to everybody.
Okay, we'll start here with Kristen, please.
As a player, what is it like to watch everything happening, like the team back together, going through physicals, kind of hitting the ice for preseason? What was it like for you to watch everything?
It's hard. Like you wanna be there with your teammates and it's not like they didn't include me in anything. Like I'm still in the group chat, still talk to a lot of the guys. I felt like I was here even though I wasn't here. Just and it wasn't like a complete surprise. Like leading up, it's not like the day before camp you're told you're not going to be at camp. Like it's kind of like a little bit of a lead up where you might get a sense you may or may not be here for the start. So just talking with the guys, they're very supportive in the whole process, which made it way easier for me. And just talking with them basically every day, I felt like I was here. So I credit everybody here, the players and some of the staff that kept in contact with me. It just made it much easier for me to not be here and feel like I was here. So it was it was hard being away from your teammates, especially those are the guys you go to battle with, and I'm just so excited to see them. Some of them tonight, most of them tomorrow, but I'm just excited to be back. This is awesome.
Go ahead, Eric.
We were always led to believe that you were originally looking for a deal like Austin Matthews, like a 5-year deal. Where was the change of heart, or was it just a matter of numbers? They weren't going to fit if it was going to be a long-term deal?
Yeah, I think the plan from the start we were looking at kind of every option, but long-term was kind of preferred at the start, and wanting to be here as long as possible and being a Calgary Flame. So we thought that was going to be the way to get it done at the start, and then talking with Tree and obviously getting feedback that like we knew the whole cap room and everything, and we both kind of came to the conclusion right before camp that a 3-year deal was going to work best for the team. And so the best case scenario happened where there isn't one guy that had to be moved in this process. That was a fear of, you never want to see that happen. And we had such a great team last year, and we brought in some pieces that I think made us, that much better and can be more successful in the postseason. So it was just a bonus that everyone's still here. These are the guys that I've played with for 3 years and that have made it so fun to come to the rink every single day, on and off the ice. And that was a big part. So for me, once that was kind of brought up to me, because I didn't really think about that too much until maybe late August, and once that idea kind of got brought up, I was really intrigued by it and really I wanted to do it because I knew it could benefit both sides.
I think
To follow up, I'd like to hear your thoughts too. But
yeah.
When you look at this window that this team has now for 3 years that you happen to be here for, can you just talk about how solid the core is of this team and how you really do have an opportunity to do something special?
I mean, absolutely. Like, we're a 100-point team last year in the regular season, and basically everyone's back. So we're chomping at the bit. And I think, having the finish we had last year made it even more clear to me that, like, I want to win more with this group. Like, I want to win in Calgary. And this is ultimately why I chose, the 3-year path. We could have, argued over the long-term, short-term, but coming down the stretch, we knew this was going to work for both of us, both myself and for the team. So I'm very happy with how it ended, very, very happy, and I'm excited to get on the ice tomorrow.
I think just to that point, Eric, I think it's important to know, because sometimes when you see a 3-year term, there's questions, as Matthew said, when this process started, even going back a year ago when we started the initial process, on both sides, it was made very clear as you start these discussions, you bring out what's important to both sides, right? Before you start, everybody thinks you just go in and start arm wrestling over numbers. You talk about what's important, and the first thing on both sides was Matthew wants to be here. He wants to play his career here. He wants to sign here as long as he can sign here, and that was our goal and mission at the beginning. So we spent a lot of time, months and months and hours and hours and hours, looking at a way for the longest term to work. As Matthew said, we finally got to the end, and this wasn't a this wasn't, you get into some, you have disagreements, but this wasn't a negotiation where, it was profanity laced 24/7. It was one where at the end of the day, Matthew and I talk, I'm saying, how do we win? How do we win? And when you explain, this allows us, it gives you, you're allowed to get back to the trough here, in 3 years. But his goal was, how do we keep this group, and how do we add to this group, and how do we win with this group? So I think it's important to realize that's how we get to the term that we got to, not necessarily of saying, well, I don't want to be here long term. We spent days, hours, and months talking about long term.
We'll go to Cammie, followed by Ryan Pike, and then Ryan Pinder.
Matthew, like you mentioned, this is the first time you've gone through this. Was there ever a point where you were nervous or concerned this would get done before the regular season started? And what kind of support did your family have for you through this?
I wouldn't say I was nervous that it wasn't going to get done. I knew both sides were gonna really dig in and get it done, and so I wasn't nervous about that at all. And I think having my dad, who's been through a bunch of negotiations before, was a calm influence. So was my my whole representatives group from Newport. They do this a million times. They've done this a million times. So for them to be in there in my corner, like, it was no nerves. We were gonna get it done.
I guess, Brad, obviously to call a negotiation like this complex might be a bit of an understatement, given the amount of moving pieces in the market this summer, the salary cap, pretty much everything. Was there any one factor that sort of made this a bit more complicated? And I guess, conversely, what made this deal come to conclusion now?
Second part first, Ryan, I would say every negotiation's got its complexities. Every individual's got it's its own individual case. But I think anybody that follows our sport, there's been an evolving market, if we can call it, for these players. And I don't remember, at least in my time in the league, that a group of players at this level and the importance to their team, but also their stature within the league, have all come up at the same time. We've seen different terms and different ways people handle their business. Again, when you go back and I credit, the other people that need a real big thank you in this is our hockey department. Chris Snow does a lot of, he's sort of the guy that's looking at the wall. There's that movie A Beautiful Mind, where there's numbers and graphs and all that sort of stuff. So between him and Don Maloney, Craig Conroy, Brad Pasco, Mike Burke, everybody played a role in it. When we set our plan was, again, we don't want to get into a distressed transaction. There's risk involved with that. We've seen around the league people, and everybody chooses their own path of saying, okay, we're gonna do something here. I know there's lots of commentary that, pick your name, that I know a number of people sitting in front of me here today were saying this guy's leaving town because that guy's got to leave town. We just felt we had a strategy going in, and we felt we had a partner on the other side of the table that understood our position, and we were able to get a deal.
Go ahead, Ryan.
Brad, we haven't seen anything beyond 6 years for any of this large RFA class. What would you attribute that to, given that we've seen a lot of 8-year packs prior to this summer?
Well, I think, quite honestly, just the simplicity, Ryan, of saying on the player side, at what point does the contract that you've signed, do you feel that you've outplayed the contract? So, listen, for the team side, it's not rocket science. We'd like it for as long as we can, for as little as it can, and outplay it and look like a bargain. So I think that's been a challenge as you look at and this evolving marketplace. We've got, in the last couple of years, especially this year, we've had as an industry, I think a lot of us, and you, the guys that cover it and have deep knowledge of it, an expectation of a cap going to a certain level this year. It didn't. A little bit of an unknowing of, up until recently, of labor, what was going to happen with the CBA and the labor situation. So there's all sorts of factors moving around. But I think from a player side, no, from a team side, you always want to be, not too far behind the market. And I think you've seen some of these deals that have happened, and I think from a player standpoint, you want to stay current within the market, and I think that's led to shorter deals or a lack of longer deals.
I also think too that most of the guys in that position were in this pretty similar position to me, so they're on great teams and there's not a ton of cap. So what's the best way to make it work without losing guys on your team?
Derek, followed by Kristen again, please.
Well, Matthew, congratulations.
Thank you very much.
I know you've been skating with the London Knights. You've got a week and a day to get ready for the regular season. Is that enough time for you to ramp up?
Yeah, no, I've been going. It's not like I've been doing nothing. Like I've been skating in London since the beginning of last week. Before that, I was skating like before training camp started. I skated with most of the Blues guys and their captain skates for 2 weeks, and then I was in Toronto all August training and skating there. So I'm ready. I'm ready to go. This is an exciting time, and I obviously knew this was going to happen at some point where I was going to be back here. And once camp started, that you were going to be missing a couple days, so you got to make sure you stay in shape and you got to make sure you're ready for when that day comes when you're back. So I feel ready, and I'm excited to go. Like this is such an exciting time because of where the team's at, how passionate the fans are right now, just the buzz around our team right now. I love, and it's so exciting to come back. Even today, just at the airport, like it was awesome. Like it's good.
Is it nice to know you're not going to have to battle against Milan Lucic anymore?
Yeah. Yes. It's very, very nice. He's like one of the 3 guys in the league, right? Every single shift when he's out there. So there's like guys like him, Wilson, and Char are like my 3 guys where when you play against them, they're out there. So, it's really, really nice to have him on our team, and he's gonna be great for some of us. He'll be good.
Kristen?
I just wanted to ask about your plan for the next couple days, fitness testing tomorrow and preseason game on Saturday, is that?
Yeah, we haven't really talked too much about
We'll
it.
do that after.
I just got here, so I literally just got back, just showered, and got ready for this. So haven't gotten too much yet.
Is that, I know Derek was kind of asking the same sort of thing, but is that enough time, or just that one preseason game potentially, or?
Yeah, and we haven't really talked about it too much, but that preseason game is the goal. Like that's obviously the goal. Like you want to play in it, you want to feel ready, but if for some reason you don't have to, you got to make sure you're smart in this too. Like you can't come here and play tomorrow. Like you got to be smart in this whole thing. So the plan, I would think right now, without talking, is maybe Saturday, but we'll play it by ear.
Yeah, we'll get him up and going tomorrow, and like Matthew said, just get back and going and knowing him, and I think Saturday he'll be coming saying, yeah, I feel good.
We'll go Ryan Pike again, followed by Cole.
I guess, Brad, you mentioned sort of the cap situation and your ability to sort of make this happen without having to be in what you call the distressed transaction. But I guess with all the big business done, do you feel like you have the flexibility to sort of maneuver during the season now?
Yep, I do. Yep, we do. And again, as we say it all the time, you're never done, right? You're never done. There's nobody hits the lights and says it's, we're shutting down. So we'll continue to work at it, but this was the big piece of business that needed to get done. If we had to start today, we're able to start today, and not start with a skinny roster. And so that's, that was the goal. And now we continue to look at ways that we can get better. And like I said, do it in a manner where I don't feel like we're, a distressed seller.
Cole?
With such a star-heavy team, how will this affect the future of the Flames cap space?
Excuse me, I missed the first part.
With such a star-heavy team, how will this signing affect the future of Flames cap space?
With a star-heavy team, you find room for good players. That's the job, right? The job is, like I said earlier, I know as you look at it, people said, well, we're not going to be able to sign Matthew without doing a bunch of other things. We were able to sign Matthew without necessarily doing a bunch of other things. So we're excited about the young players. I call them young pros. Matthew's still a young player. He turns 22 in December. That's still a young man. He's got 3 years in the league and is a top player in the league. He's a top player in his position in the league. You look at Gaudreau and Monahan. You look at Giordano. We like the group that we have. We were able to keep it together, and the goal now is, having said all that, we weren't good enough at the end of the year. I mean, we didn't accomplish what we wanted to accomplish. So the goal isn't staying the same. The goal is to get better. But we were able to do that with the group. Now keep this group together, and we'll continue to look at ways to add to it.